everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we are talking all about generative AI.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, this is something that, we hear about all the time.
Yeah, definitely all over the news these
I
days.
feel like everyone's talking about it, but maybe not everyone really understands exactly what it is or how it works.
For sure.
So we figured, why not take a deep dive?
Yeah.
And, we've got ChatGPT, which everyone's using to write everything these days.
Right.
We've got DALL-E creating these amazing images. So,
It's really changing the game.
yeah, it's really changing the game. And, even if you're someone who's not super technical, even if you're not really into AI, we want to break it down in a way that's easy to understand.
Exactly. Make it accessible to everybody.
Yeah. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is generative AI?
So, generative AI is kind of this new breed of artificial intelligence, and it's all about creating things.
Okay.
So, traditional AI, we were used to machines following rules or crunching numbers, but now we're seeing them create text, images, music, even videos.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy to me. It's like they're coming up with new things, not just analyzing what's already out there.
Exactly. It's like they're tapping into this creative energy, almost like a human artist or musician would.
Okay, I gotta admit, when I hear the words generative AI, it kind of feels like magic to me.
I get that.
How does a machine learn to be creative?
Right. It seems like such a human thing.
Yeah.
So, well, the core idea is to mimic the human brain in a way. And the key to that is something called neural networks.
Okay, I've heard of those, but I don't really understand what they are.
So imagine like this vast network of interconnected points, kind of like a digital version of the neurons in our brain. And these networks are trained on mountains of data learning patterns and relationships.
So it's like feeding the AI a giant buffet of information,
Yeah.
and it figures out how to cook up something new based on all those ingredients.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the cooking process gets even more interesting with something called transformer models.
Okay, transformer models. What are those?
So these are like the engines behind a lot of the generative AI magic we see today.
Okay.
So for example, ChatGPT, which is like the poster child for generative AI right now,
Right.
is powered by a model called GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And it's been trained on billions of sentences, learning all the ins and outs of language and grammar.
Wow, billions. That's a lot.
Right. And all about how words fit together to create meaning.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get the basic idea of neural networks, but what makes these transformer models so special? What can they do that other AI can't?
So what's really cool about transformers is their ability to understand context in a way that earlier AI models couldn't. They can track the relationships between words, even across long stretches of text,
Okay.
which lets them generate text that's not just grammatically correct, but it's also surprisingly creative and coherent.
So it's not just like copying and pasting, it's actually understanding the meaning behind the words.
Exactly. It's about understanding, not just replicating.
That's pretty wild.
And this applies to image generation as well.
Yeah.
So DALL-E, for instance.
Oh, yeah, the one that makes those crazy pictures.
Yeah, learns from this massive database of images, and it starts to get a feel for visual elements and how they come together.
Okay.
And then when you give it a text prompt, it uses this knowledge to generate something totally new that matches what you described.
So it's not just recognizing a cat in a picture, it's understanding what makes a cat, and then using that to create a new cat image.
Exactly.
Wow, that is really impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
So it sounds like this technology could really change the game in like a ton of different fields.
Oh, for sure.
Where are we seeing generative AI being used right now in the real world? Like, is it living up to all the hype?
It's definitely not just hype anymore. I mean, generative AI is popping up in so many different places. And so, for example, in writing and marketing,
Okay, that makes sense.
ChatGPT is becoming like this invaluable tool.
Oh, okay.
It can help with brainstorming, coming up with different kinds of content.
So it could even help us write this very podcast.
Exactly. It's like having a creative collaborator at your fingertips.
Wow.
And then for people who are more visual, in art and design,
Okay.
platforms like DALL-E are opening up all these new possibilities.
Okay.
Imagine being able to bring your ideas to life, even if you can't draw.
Right.
That's the power of AI in this space.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And it's not just about creating pretty pictures. It's really changing how we think about design and creativity in general.
I can imagine AI like composing music based on your mood,
Oh, absolutely.
or even like helping architects design buildings.
Yeah, for sure. We're already seeing AI compose music that adapts to your emotions, like personalized soundtracks for your day.
Wow.
And in architecture, AI can help make buildings more efficient and structurally sound.
So it's clear that generative AI has just like incredible potential.
Huge potential.
But like with any powerful technology, I imagine there are some potential downsides.
Of course, there are always things to be cautious about.
Yeah. What are some of the things we need to be thinking about as this technology keeps developing?
Well, one of the big things that researchers are really focusing on is responsible AI development.
Okay, that makes sense.
As these systems become more and more integrated into our lives, we need to be sure they're being used ethically.
Right. It's not enough to just have this amazing technology we have to use it for good.
Exactly. We have a responsibility to get it right.
We were just talking about how, it's not enough to just have this amazing technology we have to use it for good.
Exactly. And that's where the whole idea of responsible AI development comes in.
So how do we actually go about building AI that's, ethical, that's not biased? It seems like a huge task.
It's a big challenge, for sure. But I think it's one that's absolutely essential to address.
Yeah.
And one of the key things is the data.
Okay.
The data that we use to train these AI models needs to be diverse. It
Oh.
needs to reflect the real world.
So it's like making sure that AI has a balanced diet of information.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want it to be learning from a limited perspective.
Right.
And, you also need ways to audit and test these systems.
That makes sense.
Make sure they're being fair and not reinforcing harmful stereotypes.
Right.
And transparency is a big part of that.
Yeah, it's hard to trust something if you don't know how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the technical side of things.
Right.
There's also this bigger societal conversation that we need to be having.
Yeah, like what's the impact going to be on society as a whole?
Absolutely. Because generative AI has the potential to reshape entire industries. It could change how we work, how we interact with the world.
It's almost like we're entering this new era,
It really is.
and we need to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. And I think that's where that quote, with great power comes great responsibility, really comes into play.
Yeah, it feels very relevant.
Because, generative AI gives us this incredible power to create, to solve problems.
Right.
But we have to make sure we're using it wisely and ethically.
For the benefit of everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. It's about making sure that everyone benefits from these advancements.
Okay, so let's put on our futurist hats for a second. If we fast forward 10, 20 years, what kind of world do you think generative AI will help us create? Like, what gets you excited about the future of this technology?
Oh, there are so many possibilities.
Mhm.
And it's hard to even imagine them all. But, like, for example, education. I think generative AI could revolutionize how we learn.
Okay.
Imagine personalized AI tutors that can adapt to each student's needs and learning style.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or healthcare.
Mhm.
AI could help with faster and more accurate diagnoses by analyzing huge amounts of data and spotting patterns that humans might miss.
So it's like having a team of super doctors working alongside human doctors.
Exactly. And I can picture everyone having their own personal AI assistant.
Oh, yeah.
Helping us with everything from scheduling appointments to writing emails to composing personalized music.
Yeah, that would free up so much time and energy.
Right. And let's not forget about the creative potential.
Yeah.
Imagine artists collaborating with AI to create entirely new forms of art. Interactive stories that respond to your choices. Video games that build unique worlds.
It's like the limits of our imagination are the only limits.
Exactly. And the possibilities are just mind-boggling.
But it's also important to think about the potential downsides, right? Like,
Right.
what if AI becomes so advanced it starts replacing human jobs? What if we become too reliant on it?
Those are definitely valid concerns, and those are conversations we need to be having.
Yeah.
It's crucial to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used in different ways.
So it's not about humans versus machines.
Exactly.
It's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together.
It's about collaboration, not competition.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture stuff, but I'm curious, what are you most excited about in terms of the advancements you're seeing right now?
One of the things I'm really fascinated by is the development of multimodal AI systems.
Multimodal, what does that mean?
So these are systems that can understand and generate different types of content all at once.
Okay.
So text, images, audio, video, all kind of blended together.
Wow, so it's like AI is becoming more and more like humans in how it interacts with the world.
In a way, yes. And this has huge implications for all sorts of fields.
Like what?
Well, think about education. Imagine an AI tutor that can combine text, images, videos, and even simulations to create a truly personalized learning experience.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the creative possibilities are endless. AI could help writers Craft novels, musicians compose symphonies, architects design buildings.
It's like having a superpower.
In a sense, yes, and we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
So it sounds like you're pretty optimistic about the future of generative AI.
I am. I think it has the potential to revolutionize so many aspects of our lives.
It's pretty incredible to be witnessing all of this unfold.
It really is. But as we embrace these possibilities, we need to do so responsibly.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we're using this technology for good.
Exactly. We need to build a better future for everyone.
So we've covered a lot of ground today,
We have.
from the basics of generative AI to its potential impact on society and a glimpse into what the future might hold.
It's been a great conversation.
It has been, but now I want to hear from you, our listener.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on all of this? We've talked a lot about the future of generative AI, but, it's easy to get caught up in the what ifs and all the possibilities.
Right. It can feel very abstract sometimes.
Yeah. So can you give us some more concrete examples of how this technology is actually being used right now, like today?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are tons of real-world applications already happening, and one area where we're seeing a lot of impact is in marketing.
Okay, that makes sense.
So companies are using AI to, create personalized ad copy tailoring messages to specific customers.
Oh, so instead of seeing the same generic ad everyone else sees, you might get one that's like specifically designed to appeal to you.
Exactly.
Good.
It's all about making marketing more targeted and more effective.
And it's not just about text, right?
No AI can also generate images and videos for marketing campaigns, creating really eye-catching content.
This feels like it could be huge for like smaller businesses or, individual creators who don't have these massive marketing budgets.
Absolutely. Generative AI is leveling the playing field, giving everyone access to tools that used to be only available to huge corporations.
So it's democratizing creativity in a way?
In a way, yes. And it's not just marketing. We're also seeing it in healthcare.
Okay, how so?
Well, for example, AI is being used to analyze medical images,
Okay.
which can help doctors detect diseases like cancer earlier and more accurately.
Wow, that's incredible. Early detection can make such a big difference.
Absolutely. And AI is going to become even more important in healthcare in the future.
In what ways?
Well, think about drug discovery, for instance.
Yeah.
AI can sift through massive amounts of data,
Okay.
helping researchers identify promising drug candidates way faster than traditional methods.
So it's accelerating the pace of research.
Exactly. It has the potential to really revolutionize how we develop treatments for all sorts of diseases.
It's amazing to think about the impact it could have.
It really is. And, we also talked about education
Right?
and how AI can be used to create those personalized learning experiences.
Like those AI tutors we were talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. Tailoring the content to each student's individual needs and learning style.
So it's like having a personal tutor who can adapt to your pace and your learning style.
Exactly. And that could be really powerful, especially for students who struggle in traditional classrooms.
It's amazing to think about all the different areas where this technology is already making a difference.
It really is. And these are just a few examples we're seeing, applications popping up in so many fields, from finance to law to art to music.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to step back and consider, where do we go from here? What does the future hold for generative AI, and how do we make sure we're using it responsibly?
Well, the future is definitely full of potential, and I think we'll continue to see these incredible advancements and new applications emerging all the time.
Yeah.
But as we move forward, it's crucial that we do so thoughtfully and ethically.
That's a really important point.
We have to be mindful of the potential challenges, work to minimize any negative impacts and make sure we're using AI to empower humans and create a better world for everyone.
Because ultimately, it's a powerful tool, and it's up to us to decide how we use it.
Exactly. It's not just a technological revolution, it's a societal one.
So to our listeners, as you go about your day, we encourage you to think about what we've discussed today.
Yeah. How might generative AI impact your life, your work, your creative pursuits?
What possibilities does it spark in your mind?
Let your imagination run wild.
Because the world of generative AI is constantly evolving, and the tools and the possibilities we have today are really just the beginning.
Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring. The future of generative AI is being written right now, and we're all a part of that story.